Okay, this is Miss Pie again. I want to show you how to do a cube root. I know lots of you have had shapes where you have kind of lots of weird kind of curves, almost like this tassel. And one easy way to graph that is with a cube root. Okay, unfortunately, you cannot. You can't what? You can't just like put out the cube root and then move it from where you want it or where you're at. So let's go ahead and first start with just a plain cube root of x. Okay, and this is what you get. Well, obviously it's not anywhere close to this curve here. So I've got a curve here. If I reflect it across the y-axis, it'll turn my bends a little bit. And then I will show you how to stretch them and compress them and all that fun stuff. All right, so basically what I want to do is I want to come out here to the very front and I want to make it a negative. Okay, that's going to flip my rotation, see? And there you have the curves like this, what kind of matches up this curve right here. All right, and then I do want to take this and I want to move it over, probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7.5, I'm guessing, something close to that. And then I also want to move it up, but probably up 2, okay? So same thing with all our other transformations. You're going to go, if you want to move it left or right, you're going to go straight right next to the x and add or subtract how far you want it to move. If you want to move it to the right, you're going to subtract by whatever the number is. And I think we said 7.5. I think that was what we said. And then if we want to move it up, you can't add some number right here. You have to get outside of the cube root symbol, and that's where you're going to add however far up you want to move it. So I think we said 2, something close to that. We'll just start with 2 and see how we go there. All right, so now we kind of have it in the right area, but I want to kind of stretch this part right here so that this part is up here, and then this part is down here. So I want to do a stretch or compression, and that I'm going to come all the way out here right next to the negative, and I'm going to plug in different numbers here. So with some of your functions, if you have a number greater than 1, then it will make it bigger. If you have a number less than 1, it'll make it smaller. That's usually what happens here. So let's try it and see what happens. So let's say we're not sure how far we want to stretch it. So let's just put a 3 there and push enter. Wow. Okay, so you can see where this curve is going and it's way too far stretched out. So that 3 is probably too big. Let's try a 2 and see what happens. All right, that's a little bit more reasonable. And if I wanted to stay with that, I might be able to, but I would definitely want to pull this down a little bit. So that's 2 different things we can do. We can go ahead and pull that down, maybe +1, and see what that does. Okay, so that's, wow, that's really, really close. If I was just frustrated and spent hours and hours and hours on this and could not get it to fit this shape very well, then I would probably go ahead and stop right there. But I've only spent a couple, maybe a minute on this, so let me go ahead and see if I can tweak that formula just a little bit and get it a better fit to my graph. You know what? Let's try changing this compression. Instead of a 2, 1 is going to be too small. Let's try 1.5. See what happens there. Okay, wow, that was way too small. Okay, how about 1.75? Okay, and I hope you guys realize that all I'm doing is I'm guessing. I don't know for sure what I want. I'm just guessing here. But if you look, I want to say that from this point to about this point, I have it exactly the way I want it. But this part here is way too low. Okay, so if I wanted to, I might just go ahead and limit this function so it starts here and stops here. It would be kind of hard to limit it with that small of an area. So let's see if I change this. Let me see. What? Oh, excuse me. What if I go ahead and move it up a little bit more? See what that does. Wow. Okay. So you can see right here, it doesn't quite, it's a little bit too high right here, but if I stop it here, let it go to maybe here, I will probably be pretty good. All right, so now I've got it pretty close. I will tell you, these types of shapes are very hard to get really accurately. Um, and so you might have to do several different parts to it. But I do like how I go ahead and I have this nice curve here. And honestly, because I would be taking, I'm going to get rid of this picture when I'm all done. So I might just go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to just have the tassel curve to right here, and it'll still look like a tassel and everything. Um, and so, yeah, so I might just go ahead and leave it there. And that's probably what I'll go ahead and do. So let's set my limit to start at 2 and stop at, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so when x needs to be between 2 and 8. So do the control equals your such as line 2, control equals your less than sign x, control equals less than sign, I think I said 8. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okie dokie. Let me see. Let me get rid of the, wow, everything's kind of there. Let me hide that formula. You know what, 2 is a little bit too far, so I'd probably go ahead and change that to a 3. And that curve looks really good. It's not a perfect match, but it's really close. And I can go ahead and just put my ball right here, just attach it to the end right here if I wanted to. But I would definitely want to change the beginning value to a 3 there. And there I go. That's pretty good. Okay. So that's just your cube root. That's another nice one that's fun to play with, and especially when you have weird little curvy things like that. Okie dokie. I think that's all I'm going to do for this video. See you in another video, or at least I'll talk to you in another video. Bye.